This past year, southeastern North Carolina has experienced a brewery boom, making it one of the top beer destinations in the state. To celebrate this, Cape Fear Weekend launched the Cape Fear Ale Trail as a visual guide to the places, people, and pints that make up this thriving industry. Now we look back at a year of beer. Earlier this year, we visited Flytrap Brewing, whose small batch brews are as unique and local as its namesake.
I started brewing beer about 7 years before we opened, and home brewing. I had a buddy who got a home brewing kit, and I sat in with him on it, and we had no idea what we were doing, and it was just kind of magical. But then it just kind of sparked an interest, and that snowballed into just wanting to know every element about what we were doing and why we were doing it. I think something special about the brewery that really kind of is near and dear to my heart is the fact that we're so small. Our batch size is a 3-barrel, which is about 100 gallons, and that is like by far the smallest in town. So we really focus on being more of a neighborhood style brewery. We're not set up to do a lot of distribution and be in bottle shops and being on draft all around town. We have a lot of different fermenters, so even though we have a small batch size, we can ferment a lot of beer at the same time. So even like our core beers, we have a couple of like 5 or 6 core beers that we try to have on at all times. And we also have some seasonals and special releases. So the small batch really helps to keep everything super fresh. So that's kind of one of my favorite things about our style. Part of the brewery was creating beer and connecting with people. Really tying it into the community was essential from the very beginning. With the Venus flytrap being native to the Wilmington area, and it's the only place in the world that it has a native habitat, it just felt so special. Theory is that they started developing this carnivorous appetite because there was no nutrients in the soil. And these plants adapted to figure out a way in order to survive and kind of flourish in that weird environment. This particular element is something that a lot of people don't think of when they think of Wilmington. Just really getting some extra insight through all of the people who are working to preserve this really cool member of our community.
Looking for more Cape Fear beer? Head to capefearweekend.com and check out the Cape Fear Ale Trail for an interactive map, exclusive videos, and more. Sun and surf is a part of the coastal lifestyle. In fact, Madmal Brewing even uses the sun in the science behind the suds.
I'm Byron McSweeney, and I am the taproom manager of Madmal Brewing. Madmal Brewing has been in Wilmington for almost 4 years now. We run a 7-barrel brew house. We are about to expand our brew house to increase production by almost 200%. But we are a very self-sustainable brewery. We have about 69 solar panels on top of the brewery that help run our brew house. Something that's kind of specific to Madmal is actually these tanks behind me. They're called Mueller tanks, and those are the tanks that we serve our beer out of. You don't see those in every brewery. We're actually, I believe, the only one in Wilmington. I can say that pretty confidently. But not many breweries have those. They're becoming more popular now, and it's just a way to serve beer out of these tanks unlike any other tanks. They're called Mueller tanks. They actually have a bag inside of them that we fill up with the beer and then pressurize it, and then as the beer is being served, the bag goes down and down and down, and then once it's done, the tank is kicked, we just open up the tank, pull the bag out, throw a new one in, fill it up, start over. Yeah, so on tap right now we have Bolsonboro Island, and that's our Grapefruit Pilsner. It's one of the brewer's kind of pet projects that he's been working on for a long time. and we brewed it one time last year and kept it around all summer. We work really hard, but we also have a lot of fun. You know, and that's every brewery, and that's why a lot of people get into the brewery industry, is because beer is fun.
Front Street Brewery is a downtown staple that is loved by many. However, there's one guest that still refuses to leave.
So here at Front Street Brewery, we do have a ghost. On November 1st, 1895, we had a German painter by the name of Henry Wenzel who was painting our natural light well, and he unfortunately fell to his death on a cash register in a dry goods store that was located in our building. We have had several experiences with Henry. This is definitely a building that has a lot of history, and there's a lot of energy that's still in this building. We have had a lot of our prep cooks very early in the morning hear whistling throughout the stairwells. That's a big one. A lot of footsteps when no one else is in the building. They hear them directly above their heads in our mezzanine level, and no one else is in the facility. We've even had food truck drivers that have delivered here said, "Oh, I heard you whistling in the stairwell," and our prep cooks have said, "No, that was Henry." I was closing the restaurant one evening, and we had moved a lot of things out of a storage closet, and ghosts apparently don't like a lot of change. So as I was walking past that empty storage closet, I noticed a figure standing in the middle of the room. And I stopped and I walked back towards that figure, and it had disappeared. But I know for a fact that I saw a man wearing a gray cloak standing in the center of that room. We did have an incident where our general manager was here with one of our bartenders closing the facility, and they were standing directly in front of our elevator. And as they were talking, suddenly the elevator door slammed shut. And this is a very heavy piece of equipment. It's a metal piece of equipment. So the force that would be required to shut this door is immense. And that was incredibly shocking to them. They were pretty scared after that. We do have a beer that we release for Henry every year. It is called The Fallen. It is a Hellesbock, a strong German lager. And we do that in his honor. We try to keep him a happy ghost, so cheers to Henry.
The Cape Fear's beer scene continues to grow. We got a sneak peek at the future home of Burgaw Brewing and the head brewer's vision.
My name is Kevin Kozak. I'm going to be one half of the owner-operator of Burgaw Brewing. My wife, Emmeline, will also be joining us. Started professionally brewing beer in 2003, and then I moved to Wilmington to take over the Front Street Brewery job in 2006, and I was there for 13 years before getting involved with this project. Well, I'm working with Burgaw now, which is a wonderful organization headed up by Richard Johnson, and he took a liking to Burgaw. He has a farm right up the road, and decided to buy some buildings downtown and help some entrepreneurs get inside the businesses, and got hooked up with him, and COVID hit, so it stalled things obviously, but we're back up and running, and we're hoping to be open by the fall this time. I am a sucker for a good German lager. That's kind of my roots, and I believe they're making a good, nice little comeback, but German Helles or German Pilsner are just two of my favorite styles of beer to make and also drink, so definitely going to be featured in one of them here. We're going to be starting off with probably 4 or 5 main beers and then growing it from there, but we have the ability to have 12 beers on tap at any given time once we're up and running. I'm tinkering with the idea of a honey blueberry beer. I think there were 2 flavors that go pretty well together. I've also thought maybe we could throw maybe a sour blueberry, Belgian style, down the road too, but I'll wait for that, kind of get the system locked in and go from there. I'm just really excited to kind of start from something from scratch and kind of build it and kind of see where it goes. You know, I have an idea what it should be, but that doesn't mean it's definitely what it should be. So we're going to see what the town of Burgaw, surrounding area really enjoys, you know, what kind of food they like, what kind of beers they like, and cater to them. Well, Burgaw is just a great little town. I mean, one of the cool things about Burgaw we love is how walkable it is. We live 3 blocks away, and every morning, every evening, we take that dog out for a walk, and there's a nature trail that runs the entire length of Burgaw and cuts through, and it's just a wonderful place. and it's just great. You know, when it's going to be open, this front patio is going to be wonderful to sit out, look at the courthouse square. There's been a lot of filming done here. I've heard there's more filming coming back, so it's a quaint little town, and it's only 25, 30 minutes from downtown Wilmington, so why not take a little road trip?
Oak Island's Lone Rider Lookout offers one of North Carolina's favorite brews with a view.
I am Chris Diamond. I am the Regional General Manager for Lone Rider, all our restaurants and tap houses. So the plan with Oak Island is we have a great setup here with obviously the intercoastal, and in our backyard we have the ocean in the backyard, and it's a great setup for not only growing the brewery, but also growing our distillery brand. For a lot of people that don't know, Lone Rider actually does their own spirits. We have award-winning bourbons, which we do different finishes in. And the ability that we now have as we get our distillery permits, we'll be allowed to put a functional distillery in the brewery. So another thing that we're actually working on, and is attached to the restaurant, is called the Ship Store. And it was a function of the fish house before. You can actually come in the side door over there. You know, we have the boat docks right in our backyard, and you can come in and buy a 6-pack of beer to go, or you can come in and have a pint while you're here. The 6-packs are really what we're going to have in the convenience store, is literally that. We're going to have a convenience store. We're going to have merchandise to sell. We're going to have, you know, potentially food to sell that people, when they can pull their boat up, they can get a 6-pack to go and get some snacks and get a Lone Rider Oak Island t-shirt and be on their merry way, spread the word about us.
Right before you cross the Wrightsville Beach Bridge, Waterman's Brewing is where beachgoers grab a bite and a beer.
I'm Don Weber. I'm one of the owners here at Waterman's.
Well, the culture here at Waterman's, one of the things that I really like to provide for our staff, we've got a large staff underneath the roof here, is to provide an opportunity for them to continually grow. We have a lot of, we have some full-timers with us, but we have a lot of transitional employees since we're in a college town. So we just try to create a space where everybody can leave kind of as a better version of themselves, so they constantly have room to grow as an individual and create people skills as well as professional skills, and to have a great customer interaction with the customers in the community that come through our space. It's really awesome to know that you're working to provide a space that not only houses good food, good beer, but also creates an environment that everybody wants to be a part of. It's like the community takes a share of that. Like they really love being involved in a space that they can call their own.
We have everything from lagers and kolsches to sours and stouts, milk stout in the tank, which is our first milk stout, so I can't wait to try that one. So a lot of different flavors.
Yeah, there's a huge profile, and I have to attribute a lot of that to our head brewer, Alexis. She is fabulous and creative, and she constantly encouraged that she uses her own ingenuity to come up with not only the staples that we have, like our flagship IPA, Abundant Sunshine, but also to get kind of down and dirty with trying something new. Be creative and try something. Right now we have 12 of our own beers on draft, and then we have a seltzer that Alexis made. So if I would say come on in and grab a flight and try the selection and figure out that beer is not beer. Beer is not just beer, I guess I'll say. Like there are many different styles of beer, and they all show up differently. The flavor profile is entirely different. So give yourself the opportunity to try them out and see which ones ring true.
Under the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge, there's a whole world of beer to try at Waterline Brewing. inspired by one veteran's travels.
Hi, my name's Rob Robinson. I'm the co-founder and president of Waterline Brewing Company here in Wilmington, North Carolina. We're located at 721 Surrey Street, right underneath the bridge. We call ourselves Brewed Under the Bridge as our tagline because you can literally see the bridge when you walk out in the parking lot. And we've been open since December of 2015, brewing a crazy variety of solid, local, handcrafted craft beers. You know, we've come up with a vibe which is kind of family-friendly, dog-friendly. We like to hold a lot of charitable events and fundraisers, and we're pretty local focused in Wilmington. We've just never spread too far out. I'm a lifelong home brewer, so I started home brewing. I was stationed near Cologne at a little German base up there. There's about 100 Americans on a German base. Cologne's unique in Germany. They do an ale called Kolsch, which happened to turn out being one of our most popular flagships, Kolsch style ale. And they drink it in thin glasses. It's not a lager, it's an ale, it's cleaner. But it was really delicious. And so then Belgium is like the Disneyland of beers. There are so many flavors, so many styles, so many colors. That just kind of opened my eyes completely to this crazy world of beer. So Belgium, Holland, Germany. So I started homebrewing. The chemistry is pretty basic, and you get a little bit of equipment, and you can screw it up, but if you do it right, you get a beer, and the variety's endless. And who doesn't like drinking beer? So I've been homebrewing for a long, long time, thought that this building, this city, and making beer would be a great second job after the military. There's an endless variety of beers that you can make, because the cool part about brewing is that it's part science and part art. We want to make some beer, we want to sell some beer, we want to have a good time doing it, and we want to support the people that are working here and support the community as well.
We're excited to be taking you to Leland's first brewery with a special contest. The prize? Your dog could be featured on a limited release beer. This year, Paws for People is teaming up with Wrightsville Beach Brewery and Brunswick Beer and Cider for the first annual Dog of the Year contest. You can nominate your dog for Dog of the Year by scanning the QR code on your screen now. You pay a $10 nomination fee, upload a photo, and write a little something about why your dog should be Dog of the Year. Nominations for Dog of the Year end December 1st, and on December 1st, voting begins and the race is on for whose dog will get the most votes and take home the coveted prize. One lucky winner and their pup will receive the ultimate prize pack. The winning dog will be featured on a label of a limited run of Wrightsville Beach Brewery Pale Ale beer. And that's not all. The winner will also receive a cash prize of $500, a $100 gift card to Wrightsville Beach Brewery, a mini photography session by Samantha Ann Photography, and special recognition at a brewery event. This is an amazing way to give to a great organization. All proceeds from the contest will go directly towards Paws for People. Paws for People is hoping to raise $25,000 for its life-changing mission. That money will go toward the extensive training that the dogs go through before being placed with a person.
Paws for People Foundation is a Wilmington-based nonprofit that trains and places service dogs with veterans, civilians, and children living with different types of disabilities at no cost to them. It takes approximately about 2 years to train one of our service dogs. All of our dogs begin their training here at our headquarters in Castle Hayne, which is Addie's Way. Our puppies begin their training and they stay in puppy development until about 20 weeks old. So they are doing lots of different socialization and confidence building activities as well as basic obedience training. Once our dogs are done with their training and puppy development, they go to one of our West Virginia State Correctional facilities to work with inmate trainers in our Paws for Prisons training program. Our inmate trainers are the trainers that teach all of our dogs their specific disability tasks. So these are the specific commands that will go on to help our clients mitigate their disability set once their dog is placed with them. Once we are done with that training process, all of our dogs come back to Wilmington and they work directly with UNCW students as part of our UNCW Assistance Dog Training Program and minor program that we have partnered with the university.
Thank you for joining us on the Cape Fear Ale Trail. To learn more about these breweries, see the interactive map, and get monthly new features, head to capefearweekend.com.